Ugh, I can't make the sequence look good. It's just missing something. Hey, maybe you should add color curves to it. Color curve? What the heck is a color curve? A color curve is where you have multiple colors fade between each other to make awesome effects with mixed colors. You can make it fast, you can make it slow, you can make it rainbow, Christmas colors, whatever you want. You wizard! How are you changing the color of your skin and the color of that green screen that I use all the time in every single video but never actually use all the way? Oh, it's just a simple color curve. You don't have to have the colors changing though. You can make it a nice mix of colors across the screen. Oh. Hey everyone, thanks for watching How To Pixel, and like you saw in the intro, today we're talking about color curves. Color curves can make your sequences look awesome. They allow you to change the color or colors of an effect without having to stop it and interrupt the flow of it. For example, we have this red, white, and green pinwheel. And let's say halfway through we wanted to turn to pink, blue, and yellow, but we didn't want it to stop spinning or start at a new location and make it look weird. Now this seems kind of hard because you can't tell which colors to be on at what time, so you'd think you'd have to use two different effects with the different colors on each one. But with color curves, you can have the color change halfway through and keep the effect moving at the same speed without having it look weird. Color curves may seem confusing to use at first, but trust me, once you get the hang of it, you'll be using them frequently without even noticing. But without any more delay, let's get right into the tutorial. A little note I'd like to say before I start this part of the tutorial, I lost my voice, so I might sound a little sick, and I'm sorry about that, but yeah. So I'm in Xlights right now, and I have this 30-second long animation loaded up, and I have a pinwheel effect right here. And the colors are set for white, red, and green, and it's set for 6 arms, and I have it on the entire house moving right now. So let's say right here at 5 seconds, like I talked about in the example a few seconds ago, I wanted it to be white, red, and green here, but then switch to blue, yellow, and pink here, but without interrupting the flow, or without having this skip that it usually has like when you go from one effect to another. So what you'd think you'd have to do is you could adjust this, have the pinwheel go for this 5 seconds, and then put another pinwheel at the other end, except have those colors be blue, yellow, and pink. But the only problem with this, and let's choose a lighter blue, the only problem with this is when it gets right here, if you look at it, it skips. And the reason why is because since it's starting the new effect, the pinwheel goes back to wherever it is when it starts at the effect. So you could have this in your show, but it looks really bad when it does that. So this is where you could use color curves. So I'm going to put this back at the full length. So I'm going to start with red, and I'm going to right click it. And now we can see it brought up this color curve, and I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so you can see it. So it shows red right here. Now if you look, this line that's perfectly in the middle, that's this timing mark right here. So if I was to close this quickly and move this timing mark to, like, let's say there, now you can see that the timing mark shows up over here. So it shows you the timing marks during that effect. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to go from red on this half of it and then switch to pink, yellow, and blue. Let's say we want the red to go from red to yellow. So you can click this and you can move it around the red. That doesn't really do anything when there's no other colors. But if you click somewhere else on here, it creates another color right here, and it starts off black. And if you double click it, it opens up the colors right here so you can select the color. So if we want red to go to yellow, we could select that. And then you can see how it's red on this half and then yellow over here. And let's move this so they're on each side of the timing mark. We can make it have like a little bit of a fade time, so it'll fade from red to yellow. And then if we click OK and you watch the red pinwheel right here, it's red. And then it fades into yellow without disrupting the movement of the effect. So if I show you that again, it's red. And then it fades to yellow. And that's because right here we have the color curve set to be red and then fade off to yellow. And now I can make the fade longer if I put more of a gap in between there, like let's say like this. And then let's take a look at that. It's red, and then it slowly fades to yellow. I like it though when it's a little bit smaller. It looked better for this. And now I'm going to do this for the rest of the colors. So I'm going to right click green as well, and I want green to be on the first half of it, like right there. And then let's make green go into blue. So click blue, just like that, and I think that's about right. Hit OK, And I'm going to do the same for white. And now let's take a look at it. We have it start with white, red, and green, and then go to pink, yellow, and blue. So if we look, it's red, green, white, and then it fades to all those colors. And if you look, it doesn't disrupt the flow at all. The effect keeps moving at the same speed, but the colors change. And we can speed it up a little bit. Oh, that's way too fast. Right? Let's leave it like there for now. You can look, and it fades into the colors without messing up anything. And it looks very nice like that. Now I'm going to show you a few of the other settings when you're in here. First, let's say you're making this and then you accidentally click and, oh no, you put in another color. How do you get rid of it? Well, if you just click it and then push delete on your keyboard, that's how you can delete it. You can also use Control Z, which is undo on Windows. I'm not sure if it's the same on Mac computers, but I have noticed that that can be really glitchy sometimes, and sometimes it messes up. So if I want to delete something, I usually just click it and push delete. This button, flip colors right here, it allows you to flip whatever you have over here. It will flip it. So now pink's on this side, white's on this side, and you can flip it back. You can choose the blend mode. So right now it's set to fade into the next color. You could set no blend mode. So as soon as it like detects this color, it will completely switch to that color very hard. So if like we look, let's pay attention to the white part of the pinwheel, and it goes right to pink really hard. And then we can set it to random, which is very random. It does this very weird flashy stuff. So if you look at white now, it just made it really random. So it flashes between white and pink. I've never used any of the other settings other than the one where it fades from white to pink. This one works the best. And then they also have some pre-made ones here, so you could click any of these, and it'll bring it up. Like this one has multiple different colors in it. It goes red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. And I'm going to select this one for now, and I'm going to deselect the other colors just so we can see the pinwheel, that whole color. You can see as the effect goes on, it changes orange, yellow, now it's going into green, then it's going into blue, and now it's going into purple. And it doesn't stop the effect, the speed doesn't change. All it's changing is the colors. Some of the other ones it has is like white, red, green, and then there's another rainbow but with pink. And then some of your saved ones will automatically be in here, like this one I made. This one I also made for another sequence that I needed. It keeps all of them saved that you export, because you can go down here and you can load and export color curves to save them if you use that one frequently. And that is all the different settings within here. I'm going to put this back at white and pink. There's another thing that these color curves can do. So right now I'm going to select all of these. So it goes white, or it goes from Christmas colors to the other set of colors. But if you look, when you have a color curve on, and I'm gonna make this a little bigger so you can see it easier, there's these clocks under them now. And what this basically does is it tells Xlights, do you want the color to change as the effect goes on, or do you want this singular color to include both white and pink? So if I'm gonna deselect these two just so you see one. So I'm gonna click this clock, and it'll give you some other arrows, and basically what that does is it tells Xlights, oh, you don't want the color to fade as it goes on. You want this color curve to be one singular color. You want this white and pink to be on the effect the whole time. So like one half of the pinwheel will be white and the other half be pink all at the same time, as you can see like it did here. You can also change the direction of the arrow, so now like pink's on the outside, white's in the middle. And now this one, each different arm on the pinwheel has both pink and white in it, and the other direction. You can flip it back the other way, and now it's white then pink, and then you can go back to the clock. So if it's the clock, that means as it goes, the color is going to change. And if it's an arrow, that means it's just going to include the color however you have it set up in here. Now, if I was to move the white all the way to the side and the pink all the way to the side and use the arrow, one of the arrows, you'll see that the colors are way more faded in with each other. And that's because there's a lot of space between the two colors, so it's going to have a lot of this mix in it, this fade. So it looks a lot nicer. Whereas if you just have it directly right at the middle, let's bring this one over like this, you can see there's not much of a fade between the two colors. Now if I select all of these colors and I include the same arrow on all of them, now you can see it's including all of those colors and they're not fading based on time because you don't have the clock selected. Now for most of these effects, they allow you to have the arrows or the clock and decide what it does, but there are a few, and I'm going to grab the twinkle effect as an example for now. And I'm going to go back to the default palette, and I just want to pick one color, white. And then I'm going to right click the color again so I can make the color curve. And by the way, it saves whatever one usually you had last in there. So since white usually had white and pink, it saved it for me. but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to switch to a Christmas themed one. So this one's white, red, green. So as you can see, let's shorten this so it goes a little faster. As the effect goes on, it starts out with white, fades into red, and then fades into green at the end because it has the clock on, and it goes white, red, green. But if you'll notice, there's a little outline around the clock, and I can't click the clock now. It is stuck and it won't let me change it to an arrow. And that's because this is one of the effects where it doesn't give you that option. The only color curve you can do with this effect is the clock. So you can only have it change based on time, and that's just how it works. Some of the effects don't have the other option to do the other arrows. Now there's one final thing I want to show you, and I'm going to take a single strand effect and put it on all of my arches. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So we still have the same color curve on white, red, then green, and the arch is bouncing back and forth. It goes white, then red, and then green. And you can click this one now, but it has some different arrows. The arrows aren't pointing in a corner. They're pointing right, down, left, up, and then back to the clock. So like if I was to put it to the right, whatever is, let me pause it on a frame quickly. Right now the arch is moving this direction, so it's going from left to right. And we have it set so the colors are not changing based on time. It's putting all of the colors you have in the color curve on the prop at once. If we look, it goes white, red, green, and that's how it shows it here, going white, red, green. But now when it starts to go the other direction, it reverses it because it's bouncing now from the right to the left. So now the white's on the other side. And then you can select the arrow, so if I push down, you can't really tell anything. It just selects the color that's all the way at the right end. If I click left, it's basically what it was when I was on right, except now going to the left. And when I click up, it's only using the color that's on the left side. So one really neat effect I like to do is I like to pick the rainbow one with pink in it, and I like to pick one of the left or right arrows, and it makes a rainbow arch, and it looks so cool when they're bouncing back and forth. So those are the 3 different things you can have happen with the arrow selection here. You can have it be just the clock and you can't choose anything else. You can have it be the clock and diagonal arrows, or you can have it be the clock and left, right, up, down arrows. And that is how you can use color curves in your sequences to make them look really cool. Well, that's going to conclude it for this video. Hopefully you were able to find some useful information out of it. If you weren't, please feel free to leave a comment down below and tell me what I missed or what you think I should have taught differently. I go through all the comments, so I'll definitely see what you send. And if you have any video suggestions or ideas, you can also put those down there. Next week's video, or the next video, probably won't be next week. Next video is going to be about value curves, since today we talked about color curves, so stay tuned for that video. And then this is totally optional, but if you'd like to support the channel, leaving a like on the video really helps. You totally don't have to, but that helps the YouTube algorithm push these videos out to other people so they can see these tutorials. So it's just a little way you can help out. But other than that, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.